it'd be great. It's pretty simple. I started, if somebody just sit here and just kind of move around, watch me, that would be amazing. I probably won't move much for a while, but when I do, I'll ask one of you to move over there. Don't all move at once. So I videotape the classes in here and post them on YouTube shortly after, hopefully within the day. What's that? Oh. So it's good if you kind of like rotate through the camera responsibilities. I mean, the principal complaint on my YouTube channel is that the camera work is bad. So, you know, do try to do a decent job, because if you don't, then the people who are quarantining can't see it as well, right? So that's one thing. And also just for your future reference, right? Because I think it's important to take notes as I cover material in here, but it's also very nice to be able to go back and see if you missed something or copied something down wrong, or, you know, find the exact moment I made the mistake that wasted the rest of class, whatever it is, you know? Okay, so let's go through the syllabus right quick. I know all of you can't see it, but it is in course content. Again, I'm James Cook. We meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday in this room. My office hours are going to be 10 to noon every day. I'm in BG 126A, which is kind of inside that classroom. You need to enter through the math lab to get to my classroom, get to my office, all right? And you can go in there even when even when somebody else is teaching a class in the front of the room. You can still come in. Just be aware that, like, don't open that door loudly. I think it could be an issue if we're not careful. So I will say tomorrow I will not be in office hours because I have some kind of training I have to go to, but that's an unusual, hopefully, situation. This is a 3-credit-hour course. This is pre-calculus algebra, which is kind of what it sounds like. Most of you intend to go to calculus, am I right? Show of hands, who's here who doesn't want to go to calculus? So you're here for fun?
I don't know, they put me in here.
They put you in here.
Yeah,
So that means that you're destined to go to calculus. Accept your fate. I mean, are you interested in being a math major? Or? Mm-mm. You don't have to say it so, like, assuredly. Like, but, all right. Well, we are using pre-calculus Mathematics for Calculus by Stewart, Redlin, and Watson. It's this. Well, I have the instructor's edition, so mine looks like this. Yours is bigger. Listen, I'm actually going to be writing up homeworks for you. I'll type them out in a PDF and post them. But I will suggest practice homeworks from here that I will not collect. All right. So it's good if you have the book. But if it's a financial imposition to, like, buy this book, and you'd rather buy an older edition for 10% of the cost, I would be fine with that. You'll just have to do a little bit of work to figure out what practice problems are appropriate, right? So if you want to do that, that's fine. I'm not using Cengage. I'm not using the WebAssign. I'm just assigning actual. I'll give you a PDF of problems to complete, and then you'll turn them back into me. I will grade them, give them back to you. All right? So that's how does that make sense? Of course, you know, if things go sideways and we go online, then you'll have to scan them as a PDF, send them to me, and then I probably will just tell you how you did. I probably won't scan them in because I won't have a decent way to. When that happens, we'll figure it out. Let's pray it does not happen, right? All right, so you know, topics of this course are what they sound like. I mean, it's basically just the start of algebra. You should have some comfort with basic algebra already before you're in this course, right? So it shouldn't be completely new to you, but it shouldn't be. It may not be totally. There should be things in here that are new to you, but not everything should be new. All right. Just to give you a quick rundown, the homework. So the way I have the course grade set up is by points. I have 1,000 points in the syllabus. All right. So if you get between 900 and 1,000, you got an A. Between 800 and 899, B. 7 to 799, C. Right, and so forth. But we'll just focus on the A and B. Everybody's going to get that, right? I mean, earn that. Not get. I don't give you grades. You earn grades, right? Homework is 150 points. And I'll be hopefully posting the first homework sometime this week. It'll be due early next week, all right? If for some reason you're in quarantine and you can't get here, or you don't think it's wise to send a piece of paper physically to me, in that case, you can make an electronic copy and email it to me. That's what we'll do, all right? And in terms of attendance, if you're quarantined for now, what I'll ask you to do is once you've watched the video on YouTube, I'd ask you to send me an email saying, Professor, I've watched your video. And at that point, I'll say, okay, you've attended. All right. Now, I may figure out how to live stream the video. I have a way to do it, but I'm apprehensive to try it the first day of class because I thought there might be issues. As you can see, there were, right? So, quizzes are worth 100 points. Participation's 50 points. Participation, these points are pretty easy to get. All you got to do is be here and man the camera from time to time, right? On occasion, I'll ask you a question. I'll have the way I keep track of the participation points is I'll have some 3x5 cards with your names on them. And what I'll do is I'll write on the back of that card, camera, date, and at the end of the semester, I'll see how many marks you have or how many questions you've answered. And as long as you're above some kind of threshold, you'll get full credit. If you've got a bunch more, I might give you some bonus points, but no one should be losing a lot of credit on the way you could lose credit on participation is to be chronically absent, right? So don't do that. That's kind of its own punishment, right? If you're chronically absent, you're probably going to fail the course anyway. I don't really need to further penalize you that much. I mean, it'll take care of itself in my experience. But I don't want anybody to fail. I'm here. I am rooting for you guys to succeed. Tests, I'll have 3 tests in here. They'll be worth 450 points. That means that if you get 100 on the test, you are in a bad place. You want 150, all right? So 150 points would be 100%. Okay, so just beware of that. I once had a test in grad school, and the student got the test back, and he goes, I got 100. And they're like, there were 200 points on that test. And he's like, what? And they're like, did you turn the paper over? He's like, oh, no. So, yeah, anyway, there's that. The final exam, it was comprehensive. It's worth 250 points. It should be easy once we get there, right? Any questions so far? Ordinarily, I would have the home. In my typical course, I would tell you which day I'm assigning the. In my typical course, I would have all the homeworks already written. I'd have them posted in Blackboard and ready for you to go. I'm just not there. I hope to get there. I'm not there yet. So it may be that I find enough elasticity in my schedule this week to finish the schedule and give you a much more rigid estimate of when homeworks are going to be given and collected. I know it's going to happen weekly, maybe bi-weekly, something like that. I don't mean bi-weekly, I mean bi-weekly twice a week? Or is it every 2 weeks? Yeah, not every 2 weeks, definitely not every 2 weeks. The homework will be more often because, little bites in here is better. Let's see here. We start at 12:20, that means we have till 1:20, right? Oh, okay. You guys are always eager to correct me on that one. I decided to start at section 1.1. I've seen other syllabi that start in the middle of chapter 1. I'm just not comfortable with that. I want us to start at the start of chapter 1 so we have I want to make sure we have the same common language and notation. A good part of this course is learning words for the math that you already know, right? Like, what does associative mean? What does commutative mean? What's set builder notation? What are real numbers versus what are rational numbers? What are natural numbers versus integers? These kinds of terms, they might have just kind of washed over you, but it's important to, understand what I mean when I say, I would like the answer in interval notation. What does that mean, interval notation, right? What is an interval? These are questions we should ask and answer. So, because later in some other course, when some professor asks you to give the answer in that way, I don't want you to get points taken off just because you didn't understand the word interval, right? It's not a big deal, but it could be. The rest of this is pretty boilerplate. If you need to miss an exam for a university-approved absence, just let me know. Communication's key, all right? Try not to miss tests. It just makes work for you. If you're having trouble, come see me. I'm here to help, right? If you're worried about being in my office and it's too small a space, let me know. We could do a Zoom conference, but I'd prefer to meet with you in like some bigger room where I could actually write on a board, because I have a way of writing on a whiteboard while I'm Zooming at home, but it's just not as good as being in a room where you can talk to a person. It's just not, Again, I will try to post lecture videos soon after class, both for those of you who are here and also for those of you who are not. And I would say it has the added benefit of helping the global mathematical community. I've learned that posting lectures, it helps students all over the world, and it's a great joy if you get feedback from people all over the place. You'd be surprised how many bad math professors there are out there, because I am better than them, which means there are some really bad math professors somewhere, because people sometimes like my videos. Let's see here. There's something called Assessment Day, which I think is on a Tuesday, so we don't care. It's dead to us. If you have a disability, don't tell me now, but do tell me. I'm sure there's an official way that's handled here. I don't know what it is. I'm here like 3 days now, So, honesty, integrity. Let's do that, right? Okay, so I won't lie to you. You don't lie to me. We can I'll be happy, right? I do generally reserve the right to change the syllabus, but I am a benevolent dictator. If I make a change, it's probably for your benefit. It's, I've never had a class be so annoying that I had to act out of spite to make it harder, That's never happened so far. So it's not going to be you guys. COVID-19 syllabus statement. I'm sure, how many classes have you had today so far? 2. So you've already heard this 2 times. I will let you refer to your previous classes. Wash your hands. Don't be an idiot. If you're sick, stay home. This is something we should say every semester, independent of global pandemics, right? If you're sick, don't come to class, right? In my classes, I video it, so you can follow along that way. And, some professors will ask me, well, if you video the classes, don't students not come to class? I'm like, I've never had that problem. It hasn't really changed my attendance one iota since I've been videoing things since, I think I started in like 2016. It didn't really change attendance much. So the other good thing about the video for me is it helps me remember what I've actually said. That's going to be especially important this semester because I'm teaching you guys Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But I also have a Tuesday, Thursday section of this as well. So at some point, I'm just telling you ahead of time, this is going to create some kind of mad confusion one day for me. Wait for it. You'll see it when it happens. You can laugh when it happens. Any questions about the COVID policies in here? Okay. Again, if you have the need to wear a mask or something, is totally fine with me. And I just ask you to respect each other's space. And also, when we're leaving, I think I'll go ahead and wipe the desk down for you today, but maybe we'll develop some kind of, I'll let you guys do some of the wiping eventually, but for today I'll wipe. There's always a bucket of wipes up behind the door, so if you ever see some kind of questionable marking on your desk and you just want to, we should always have wipes in classrooms, right? When I was a student, there were 1 or 2 times I sat down at a desk and I was getting my note paper out or whatever, and I was like, what is that? So like the coffee, after it gets dry and it kind of becomes gelatinous, you just don't want to put paper in that, right? I don't know. And that, by the way, that brings up an important point. It's really important for you to take notes and to keep your work organized in here, right? I won't collect the practice homework, but it'd be good for you to keep an organized record of it. This is part of the reason I'm not using Cengage, is in my experience, students who do online homework, they have this habit of treating it like, well, you know, kind of like the way I treat Naruto Exporto on my phone. Any of you play this game? Naruto Exporto? It's the popular, well, it's somewhat popular. My kids have been playing this game. So I've been playing this game for the last year. It's about ninjas. And you try to make your ninjas as powerful as possible to beat other people on the internet. But really, the only way to really get good at it is to spend a bunch of money on something called Shinobyte. But I won't do that, because then once you buy it, you still got to buy it the next week, because they're always coming out with more powerful characters. This should start to sound familiar, because all these games are like this, right? So you guys are like, we don't play these kind of games. We have better things to do. We have friends. All right? Fine. Fair enough. But my kids play this game, so I play it. And my point to you is I don't write anything down for that game. I just play the game, punch the buttons, I do it, right? And I think some people treat online math homework the same way. And this is not good, right? Because part of learning mathematics is learning how to write mathematics. You know, if you're taking calculus, you're probably in a major where you're expected to engage in scientific communication, and mathematics is a large part of that. And it takes discipline, but writing mathematics is it's not a skill most of us have innately. Very few people can just write math and write it well, right? So the main thing is just being organized. So I'll try to help you with that. I also am, you know, I believe in partial credit. So I try to see the good in people. And even when you guys make it really difficult, I will try to find the truth in what you're saying. But I'll probably also take points off if your notation isn't quite right, because I want you to know that there's something to fix, you know? You're like, well, how do I know what the right notation is? Well, I will try to be a good example of that in the lectures, right? And I'll also provide solutions to your homeworks, right? So that's one of the reasons that the due dates on the homework will be somewhat rigid, because once I post a solution, I don't really want to accept further submissions. It's not fair to the people who didn't get to look at the solution, right? So, don't hesitate to email me. If you email me at 4 in the morning, I don't care. If you email me at 3 in the morning, I don't care. You can email me whenever you want. It's fine. I will get to it when I get to it, which hopefully will be soon. All right. And just when you do email me, make sure to identify which class you're in. Every so often, I get an email. Hi, it's Kyle. I didn't understand that problem that you assigned Wednesday or something. It's like, which Kyle? There are 10 of them, you know? So, or Kayla, which Kayla in here? It seems like there are multiple Kaylas. Is there just one Kayla? Just one Kayla. Michaela. See, I just dropped I set the MI to 0 to create a Kayla degeneracy. Contingency statement. If the university suspends in-person class meetings, we begin all online instruction, then you should expect to complete tests and quizzes at the same time as was previously indicated in the course planner. And then the homework, which was to be collected in person, then will be collected as PDFs through some online method. And further advice about all this will be given in the unfortunate event that happens. The professors here seem to think it's going to happen, but I'm an optimist. I think we're going to keep meeting in person, you know, because this is nice to see people talk in a room. Any questions? I know what I haven't posted in course content yet, and this is important. In fact, arguably more important than the syllabus itself is something I call a course plan, which is kind of what it sounds like. My course planner is my day-by-day indication of what I plan to cover in here. I'm sure I'll be behind because I spent too much time talking about the syllabus. I have no regrets. Let's see here. There, I just posted it. Hopefully I posted the right one. Oh, it's tiny. I actually posted it as a Word document, as much as I'm against it. Evil Microsoft and all. So today I'm supposed to talk about real numbers, exponents, and radicals. I still have 14 minutes. I'll try to talk about some of that. But as you can see, I want to talk more about the structure of the course. Quiz 1, let's see here. So other sections of pre-calculus have more tests. I have less tests, but there's more material on them. And part of the reason for that is I want to make sure I have time for a quiz before the test, for a review after the quiz, and then the test. That's the structure I like. So this is an approximate schedule. This is what I'll try to stick to, but obviously I'm already going to be behind because today I was supposed to talk about real numbers, exponents, and radicals, right? So any questions about this? And I will try to stick with these test dates. So you can see when my test 1 is, when my test 2 is, when test 3 is. There is no test 4, but there is a quiz 4. So like the final exam will cover the material covered by the whole course, right? But you won't have a test 4. So that the final exam might be more on that last quarter of the course because it hasn't been tested except for quiz 4. And certainly exponential functions and logarithmic functions and log laws are important. And it's something that you'd really like to leave this course with a mastery of. And by the way, they're not hard as soon as you just look at them and spend some time. All right, well, let's, I guess I don't need a camera person today. I will just write up here by myself, if this works. Hopefully this will work. Actually, I'm worried that marker is, that marker's old. It might be dry. It's more likely to stain the board, These are new, so it shouldn't hurt the smart board. So I'm starting at the start of chapter 1, pretty much. Again, my apologies for not being able to project the syllabus. It's going to bother me the rest of the day, if that makes you feel better. And I'll try to do an icebreaker thing with you guys maybe at the start of next week once we have everybody back. I'm hoping none of you end up off the quarantine land, so hopefully by the start of next week we'll have everybody here, So if I could open my markers, that'd be a start. I am curious, show of hands, who in here intends to be a math major or is thinking about it? Anybody? Dang it. Well, there's still hope. We still have a semester. A minor? All right, I'll take what I can get. Any other minors? No? All right. So I'm curious, what is your major? I'll start with you. English.
Business marketing.
Business what?
Marketing.
Business marketing, okay.
Biology.
Biology, uh-huh. Business? English.
Pre-pharmacy.
Pre-pharmacy.
IMC graphic design.
IMC graphic design. Very good. Business.
Sports management.
Sports management, oh, very good. In the back, in the corner. Business again.
Athletic training.
Athletic training and elementary education. English. Chemistry, okay. Great. Let's see here. So I'll start with the real numbers then. So what are the real numbers? So I use this symbol for the real numbers. All right. In interval notation, it looks like this. So the real numbers go from minus infinity to infinity. And of course, if we want to draw a picture of it, we can just draw a number line, right? It's kind of, this is, and then I usually write over here something like this. So it just goes on and on both ways. We can think of it that way, right? Now, on the other hand, you might talk about something like the, say, closed interval from A to B. All right? So this is the closed interval from A to B. And what this would be, and I'll use what this is called set builder notation, this would be x, all right, in the real numbers, such that A is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to B. So just to like, this notation, this funny looking E, this means is an element of. That's just a shorthand of that statement. So that means that x is contained in the real numbers. It's somewhere in there, all right? This vertical bar here just means such that. So the way this notation works is on the left you put where your thing is coming from, and then on the right you put any conditions which, you know, further determine the set. Again, this is called set builder notation. This is the closed interval from A to B. And now in terms of a number line picture, what number line picture would we make? Just do something like this, right? Right. Or if you wanted to visualize it as, you know, like a subset of the real numbers, you'd do what? You might draw this picture, right? And I probably don't need to say all this. I mean, I think you guys probably wouldn't be confused by any of this. I'm just trying to get us started. So, you know, sometimes we'll draw the whole number line and then, you know, use some other color to indicate some subset of it. Just to have a graphical picture of it. Now, there's also what? There is the open interval from A to B. How would that be defined? And so, in here, we don't always write x an element of R because we're pretty much always going to take real numbers, right? For the most part. So, by default here, if I just say x like this, that will, in our context, we'll understand that to mean x is a real number. You're like, well, that's ambiguous. Well, fine. If you think that, then you can go back up to here and write the full where it's coming from. All right, but x such that A is less than x is less than B, right? And how would we indicate that graphically? If I was going to draw it superposed on top of the real numbers, I do what? Instead of having closed circles, I do like open circles, right? So have you guys, any of you seen another strategy for how to visualize it? There's another popular way that people do it, and you could do either way. But the other way people do is sometimes, instead of doing like this, they might do just like the notation for like open, like that. And then for closed, they would do what? Just like that, right? So you could also use that notation. Now, what are other possibilities? So these, by the way, every one of these is an example of an interval. This is the whole real line. That's an interval. This is the closed interval from A to B. This is the open interval from A to B. There's also, and these are silly terms, but there's also the clopen and the opposed intervals. Don't ask me which is which, I forget. Well, this is probably clopen. And this is opposed, I think. Anyway, half open, half closed, right? You could do these, you could do those. Can you guys, I bet you could tell me what this should be here. This should be x such that what? A less than or equal to x less than b, right? And this one would be what? X such that A is less than x, less than or equal to b. As you can see, my curly brackets are degrading, but we should try to keep them curly. Oh no. This might be here the rest of the semester. This may be the final lecture given on this smartboard. I've got some juice up here. Hopefully I can get it clean after class. We'll find out. Oops. All right, so there are a couple of other interval types. Can anybody tell me what I'm missing? I'll draw the picture while you're thinking. How about this? What if I had minus infinity to a? I could do like that, or I could have minus infinity to a not included, right? Or I could have, what else could I have? To positive infinity, right? A to positive infinity. Or finally, oh no, I'm in trouble. Or that, right? And I'm a little bit short on time, so I won't write all the notation for all these, but this would be x such that a is less than or equal to x. Now, can you guys tell me another way to write that last one? Instead of in terms of a less than, in terms of a greater than, how else could we write this? How about x is greater than or equal to a? That's another way we could write that. So these are all the, so intervals, by the way, guys, these are the sets of real numbers which you can draw continuously, in the sense that if it's an interval, I can take my marker on the number line and I can draw the interval without lifting the marker, right? They're called connected subsets of real numbers. There's only one other kind of connected subset of real number that I haven't included here yet, and it's awkward to write in the interval notation, but it's called a singleton, right? How would you, a singleton is a set just containing 1 point. So that would be something like this, just A. It's a set just containing 1 point. That doesn't really quite fit naturally into the interval notation, but it's also technically an interval in a kind of stupid way. That's it. These are the only connected subsets of real numbers. There are like, I think, 9 different kinds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, 10 if you include the singleton. All right? So when I talk about results that are true for connected subsets of real numbers, it has to be one of these guys. Right? So next time, I'll talk more about the rational numbers, the integers, and the other kinds of special real numbers, subsets of real numbers that we're interested in. And of course, we also must talk about the complex numbers in here, right? Because those are where the story of algebra is completed, right? So anyway, thanks for your attention. I really appreciate it. And I'll stop here for today. Let me turn off the camera before you guys start wandering. And maybe don't forget your mask. Don't let me forget my mask.